usual panelists. And today, I have from my right, I have John Mendy, a student from the University of the Gambia, and also the president of FAID Foundation, that is Foundation for Education, Democracy and Development. And next to me, I have Yasin Ba, who is a student from Gambia Senior Secondary School, commonly called Gambia High. Welcome to this program. Today, as usual, we have another interesting topic of discussion. And today we are looking at the role of the school or the society in terms of instilling moral values or moral ethics to our children. I repeat, the roles and responsibilities of the school or the society in terms of instilling moral values to our children. Now I want to shift my attention to Yasin Ba. Yasin, as the saying goes, charity begins at home. We all know that students that go to school, or every child that goes to school, must have come from the home. What do you think should be the role and responsibility of the home in terms of instilling moral values to our children?
Okay. The topic of discussion is very, very worth discussing. Because parents have a very important role to play when it comes to impacting moral values to their children, as a child's personality is reflected by the parents' upbringing. So parents have a very, very important role in instilling these moral values to their children. But it is the contrary that is happening nowadays. You see parents that are so much engrossed in their work that they don't really know what their child's behavior is. They don't really know what their child is up to or whatsoever. They're just concerned with your basic necessities, which is food, shelter, and then your schooling. They don't really know what, even your dislikes, they can't differentiate what you like and what you don't, which I think is a major factor why children are growing immoral nowadays. So I think parents should take up the responsibility in trying to instill these moral values from the very start. Right from the very beginning, when your child is young, try to create time, no matter how busy you are. I know parents nowadays are so much very busy in trying to cater for their kids, but in as much as you want to cater for them, also try to look at the character that you are molding for them too. Because in as much as you want them to have a bright future, they should have equally a bright character. So which is why parents need to play a very key role in trying to impact these moral values into their kids. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Yasin Ba. Our topic of discussion reads the roles and responsibilities of the school or the society in terms of instilling moral values to our children. Next is Mr. John Mendy. As you know, John, as the saying goes, spare the rod and spoil the child. Should we use the cane to beat our children in order to discipline them?
I beg to answer in the negative. That is, the cane is not the only answer, if it is even the answer. I think there are children that have been disciplined, they are very moral without undergoing certain harsh punishment. I think what we really need to do is to be exemplary in our society, teach children moral values, educate them right at childhood level. I think that's the best thing to educate a child. Educate them when they are young, talk to them when they are young, lead them by example. Sometimes there are certain things that we do, we think children are not conscious of those practices, such as being dishonest before them, lying before them, gossiping
smoking
before them, doing certain immoral acts before them, disrespecting even their mother, their father, disrespecting their mother before them, mothers do the same, so
using abusive language,
at home, and then we think that these are normal behaviors and we think these are good. And children are emulating; they are learning from what we are doing.
So,
whether we know it or we don't know it, they really learn from each and every action that we do. I can give an example. When I was living with one particular child, now the child always when he sees me when I wake up in the morning, the first thing that I do is to go to my home library and read, and do some writing and research. There was a particular time when the child wakes up in the morning, you start crying and tell the parents that he needs a book and want to write. Even though the child does not know what is writing, and you just try to take a pen and start scratching. So I came to realize that after all, and sometimes when I want to go to YouTube and listen to certain documentaries, I put my earpiece and use my laptop. I realize this child, even when I am out, the laptop is not on. The child will take the laptop and start doing the same, and taking the pen and start scratching. This speaks a lot to me that children learn by emulating. Certain practices that we do and think that the children are not listening, they are really listening and following. So I want to believe that those moral values we're talking about in school and society, I think the family played a very, very important role in that. So I believe that we really need to have more time for our kids and help them very well in upbringing them to become very responsible citizens and very successful one as well.
Yeah. Thank you very much, John Mendy. I'm going back to Yasin Ba. Yasin, you are a student and you go to school, and at school you interact with your peers in the classroom or within the school premises. At times maybe you encounter some behaviors from your friends or from your peers that are not considered good behaviors. What's your reaction on that?
Okay. Well, my say on that would be, we are brought up in different kinds of families, in different kinds of environments, but the personality that we reflect at school is also reflecting how we are trained at home. So everything is just at home. How you're trained at home, that's what you're going to reflect outside. So sometimes in a case that you even try to talk to a student, like in my case, as a prefect of my school, there are times that students will not be in line with the rules and regulations, and then you come to them and try to, maybe in a very nice approach, try to talk to them. Hey, maybe you're wearing the wrong shoe and you know it's wrong. While you could have just come and says that, but maybe putting in mind that people are not equal, and then you don't know if that particular person is just having that.
So you, stress
or stuff like that. You try to talk to them, they'll be like, hey, they'll answer back in a very, very, very rude manner, which will make them at the end of the day, maybe if you're stressed out, you end up taking them to the admin, and which they'll have to face suspensions at the end of the day. So this lack of moral values, or this immorality that some students saw at school, sometimes goes a long way into leading them to suspensions, in which they'll have to stay at home missing lots of periods, and at the end of the day when they face exams, it's a failure. So you see, everything is at home. So my main consideration would be at home here, pertaining to this topic, because I feel everything is at home. Before at school, you were first at home. So anything that you're trained at home, that's what it's going to reflect at school. So that is my opinion.
Okay, thank you very much, Yasin Ba. Yes, coming back to Mr. Mendy, John Mendy. John, in our school system, not in all schools, but some schools, like in the private schools, some of them have counselors. They have sort of an office where a counselor is, who sometimes will guide or counsel students when they do certain actions. What do you think the ministry should do in terms of making sure that we have counselors in all the schools, so that students who misbehave at least will be attended in terms of counseling and so on?
Yeah, I think the ministry should do more when it comes to those regards. I think what we need to introduce probably is going to be a subject sort of, or extra curriculum activities. But I prefer it being a subject. That is civic. They introduce something like civic responsibility. And in those civic, they teach students about their rights and their responsibility. They teach them what is moral and what is not moral, what is their duty as citizens, and how do they become good citizens as well. There they will have the opportunity to go deep into certain things that are affecting our community and our daily life, because learning is one thing. In fact, even at the university, before they graduate, they have to graduate both in learning and in character. That is education. You cannot be literate. You cannot have a lot of information, go to school, yet still you lose the character. So character is part and parcel of the education. So if somebody does not possess the good character, is not disciplined, of course, yes, it will be counterproductive, no matter how much the person reads. So I think one of the fundamental things that I would have recommend is that we need to have counseling board in every school, and we also need to have the expert also. It's one thing to have the counseling board, and then you don't have also the expert, people with the expert knowledge to make sure that they engage people. Because students come to school with different problems. Some are psychologically traumatized, some have a lot of stress at home, some have a lot of things, issues. They have a lot of personal issues, you know. So and these things affect them. They affect their delivery. They also affect even their attitude. You know, realize some of them come to school very bitter because of their bitter experience at home. So I think if we start having this board at school level, this counseling board with the right people, you know, that are psychologically inclined, you know, will able to mold them very, very well and prepare them adequately, fresh for the lesson that they're going to have. So this, I think, will help them in their personal growth, will help them as far as the teaching and learning is concerned. You know, it will also help them to improve when it comes to morality, when it comes to values of our society, and also how to maximize themselves as far as learning is concerned. So teaching and learning is a very, very significant process of human development. And if you get it wrong, you get the whole mankind wrong. So I think we need to invest more of our time, our resources, and our energy in better molding our young people to become more productive in our society, because they are the real leaders of tomorrow, if they are not the leaders of today.
Thank you very much, John. Back to Yasin Ba. Yasin, I want to talk about the relationship between teachers and parents. Sometimes parents are invited to schools and then are informed about the characters of their children or kids, and then sometimes they tend to be a little bit defensive, not knowing that their kids are capable of doing so many things. How do you see that?
Okay. In such cases, it is when a child misbehaves at school and then it gets to a point that their parents are called at school, and then the parent starts defending that particular child in front of maybe the admin or that particular teacher. I think that case is maybe you lack the know-how about your child. It's as if you know, some parents at home, they're very strict. When they talk to you, maybe you behave in a very good manner, they'll feel that anywhere you go it is the same. Whilst they don't know, you act otherwise anyhow you want when you're outside or when you are not in the same environment. So I think parents should try to maybe provide that time to sit with their children, try to talk to them. You know, maybe sometimes when you talk with a person, even if they don't so much, but you get to know them. You get to know them. So that is what parents nowadays are failing to do. They're so engrossed in their work life that they don't provide time for their children. So that is why in such cases you come stand and say, my child is not like this. If you had said this, yes, I would have said yes, that is their habit, but if you said this, my child is never, my child will not dare, it's not mad to do this. Whereas you don't really know. So I think parents should try to really inquire about their child's life, school life, and also be paying unexpected visits to the school. Because when your child knows that my parents is really inquiring about my life at school or about my performance, they will really maintain a very good behavior.
That is by regularly visiting the school. Or and maybe you call it subject teacher, the class teacher.
Try to inquire about what your child is really up to. But parents nowadays, they will just send you to school and sit back home. That's the end of it. Unless when you call for a problem, that is when they'll appear. But even meetings, when they are called, they'll say, give excuses. Very flimsy excuses they will give. I think parents nowadays really try to put up or inquire about their child's education, because it really matters. In as much as you want them to have a bright future, you should also be inquiring about the process, how it's going about. But just sending your child to school and just folding your arms, anyone that asks, yes, my child is doing well at school, it doesn't tell well. So if you want to produce very, very good leaders or people that will be of benefit to the society or to the nation at large, we really need to try to mold them from the very beginning, from the start. We need to try to put these values in them. So my case, I know people watching will say this one is always talking about the parents, but it says charity begins at home, so that is why I'm very much concerned about the role of the parents. It is very, very vital in this. Yeah.
Thank you. John, what is your take on parents who are always very, very defensive? They tend to, defend their kids as...
Generally, to be defensive is not a wise approach of living. And worse, when it comes to reacting to your children's issues. Sometimes it's rather unfortunate in our community or in our society that sometimes parents hear some complaints about their children and stood at the defensive end, which is very, very unfortunate. I think what we really need to do, sometimes certain behaviors, children don't portray them at home, but when they get out of the control, the environment that their parents are, because of probably they try to be in their best behavior because of fear. Maybe sometimes some parents instill fear to their children to the extent that they cannot even know the true character of their children. They don't engage them. They don't engage them in an informal discussion. They don't take them into an informal setting and observe them. They don't try to find time to know who they are, and how do they behave, what is their strength and their weakness. So what they do is that because they are afraid of them, anytime that they do wrong and father or mother knocks at their door, they comport themselves and be in their best behavior. When father is out, they are something else. So the same thing when father is not also present in the school, the children will not behave responsible. You have to train your children to be responsible if in your presence and in your absence. You understand? If you succeed in doing that in your presence only, you fail as a parent. So I think what we really need to do is to make sure that we teach the children and let them appreciate that these values, these things that we are teaching, their moralities, good character, are part and parcel of their upbringing, and it's good for them, better for them, so that when they get there to the school or to the community, they be in those best behaviors. And the other thing is that parents should not always be defensive. They need to learn to listen. They should understand that their children are they are also human. They have their strength, they have their weakness. They should also learn to listen and know their weakness. If their teachers are concerned, they are with them always, and they both informal and informal setting. So they know much about them within a short period of time. So if their parent, if the teacher or the administration is put forth their complaint, they should try to listen, take away the sentiment and learn from the administration and the teacher, so that it also help them in upbringing the child. But if the child knows that even I do wrong, my parent will come here and defend because my parent is in a very influential position. They said, my parents is this, my father is this, my father is better than you. So at the end of the day, they grow up with that notion, not knowing that you are not leading them but misleading them. And these are some of the fundamental things that we need to really put into consideration. I have that type of mother where when I was young, even my teacher flogs me. My mother will come to the school and give something to my teacher. Tell congratulations for disciplining my child. So sometimes when I do wrong, I don't even bother to tell my parent that I did wrong, because I know that my parent will discipline me more if I attempt to do so.
I wish we have all that type of parents.
So he always motivates the teacher. For him, the teacher is always right, and then he believes it. But when I grew up, I came to realize that my mother wanted the best for me. He believed that the teachers are really impacting on my life, and then as a result, he's going to support them to be better off. I don't say the teachers are always perfect in what they do, but always we need to also try to interrogate the processes and also learn what our children are doing in the school and try to help them. And the administration also should also contribute to help them to become somebody better for the interest of the country.
Thank you very much, John Mendy. Yes, we've been talking about parents. Now teachers. What exactly do you think should be the roles and responsibility of the teachers at school in terms of instilling discipline in the children?
In as much as parents have a very important role in impacting these moral values to their children, teachers also have a very key role to play. Because teachers are seen as second parents at school. Teachers are seen as parents. So I believe that teachers should try to make students realize that character building is equally as important as career building. You should not just help them to be ambitious on how to excel in life, but also try to instigate those good moral values in them. So this could be done maybe at the end of each your period, at the end, last 5 minutes of your stand in front of a class, try to cancel the class. Try to listen to what they have to say, maybe pertaining a particular thing or idea. Try to introduce maybe a topic and then discuss, listen to their ideas. Maybe, you know, when kids are very young, they have a very, very, very low maturity rate. So try to instill that sort of maturity in them from the very young stage. Make them, let them be critical thinkers from the very young age. I think when this is done, character building will really, really, really improve, because it is something that is really, really fading away. So children are really showing very, very antisocial lifestyles nowadays. They are into drugs, they are consuming alcohol, gambling and stuffs. They are even engaged in theft activities. You see very, very small children now in the streets holding cigarette smoking, and they are proud of that. They raise their shoulders walking, and then when you look at them, you say, what's this? It's really a problem. So teachers are seen as an embodiment of perfection by students. They feel that whatever you tell them is right. So you should also use that to help them, to guide them, counsel them, talk to them about life, make them know the wrongs and right. Because kids nowadays, when they get home, you see them sometimes sitting. I have some discussion with my younger brother. They say, my teacher said this, my teacher said that. So you know, those things as they grow, it have a lasting impact on them, whether you know or not. Yeah, so teachers should not try to come to class and then
they should not shy away from their responsibility.
Or dodge into something that won't benefit the child.
So it's not supposed to be academics only. Sometimes you go
beyond
like
academics.
Counseling
I think if this is done, it will really, really help, because in as much as parents play their role, when kids are out of the comfort, they are not in their parents' territory anymore. They are under your guidance. So, and they spend much time, much of their time maybe with you, than maybe that fathers that go out from morning, from down to dusk. They come back, come back at night, and then maybe some of them even find their kids sleeping. When you get to see your parents, maybe it's once, twice. Maybe in the week or weekends you get to see them. So teachers will also try to understand that all these are happening. So in as much as parents have a role to play, they also have a role to play.
Thank you very much, Yasinba. John, final question. I think administrators also have a big role to play, because we've been seeing students in uniform loitering in the market. When you go to the market, you see students in the street, you see them in uniform, while lessons are taking place in their schools. What sort of mechanism do you think school administrators should come up in terms of controlling such?
I think school administration have a very, very fundamental role in terms of controlling the students when they are in the school campus. I think students should have time that they should go out, that is break time, and time that they should be in the class. And there is no reason why they should leave the school campus without any reason, any genuine reason why they should do so.
They should be given permission before they leave.
Exactly. Yes, they should be given permission before they do so. And on the genuine reason why should they leave the school premises? Because they are supposed to be in class learning. They're supposed not to be loitering around the street. They don't have anything to do in the street. They should have very strict policy towards that. And students should learn to go to school on time, not to be waiting till 9 o'clock and they be walking anyhow going to the school. They will take the same attitude to work.
Sure.
If you don't respect time when you are young going to school, there's no way that you will respect time when you are walking. So these are values, these are moral values, character building. So time is very crucial, and I think this is one of the fundamental problems we have in this country. So we need to make sure that students sit in class and they learn. So they are sent to the school to learn, and it's the responsibility of the teachers and the school administration to make sure they regulate their students. They should not just care. Some schools care about few students, when they excel and they will have to move for the school. But what they don't care about the greater number, whether they are doing well or doing bad. That's not the purpose. We need to help each and every talent matters, every child matters. You never know the person who's loitering in the street, the person whose talent and potential is now reached, can be the very person who will deliver the nation, who can be the very person who is going to lead this country, can be the very doctor tomorrow, can be the very lawyer tomorrow, can be the very political scientist tomorrow, can be very engineer or agriculturist tomorrow. So every talent matters. So we really need to groom them and make them better off. So we need to work on their character, give them the right education that is very relevant to them and to society. So I think we really have to come up with mechanisms to make sure that we keep them and keep their attendance. If students are not regular, you have that contact with their parents, and parents will also find out, is my child coming to school regularly? If you don't see a student coming to school for some couple of time or coming late, invite the parents so that you can know, confirm whether the child is leaving home early or not, and know the problem, so that we can help to tackle the problem. If we do this, if all of us, everybody, for the upbringing of the child, everybody is everybody's business. So, society should make sure that every potential matters, and know that if a child is good for the community. If it's bad, it's also a liability or challenge to the entire community. So parents should know that they have a very fundamental role in upbringing the child, and students should know that they have a moral duties to lift up this life. Their life have been entrusted to them, and as she said, teachers are embodiment of hope for the young ones, and I think we really need to fulfill that obligation as teachers and administrators as well. And as parents, we really need to have a role to play, and as students also to end with. So students should know, and it's high time that they need to understand that it is their very own future that is at stake. Teachers, their parents, they have made it in life. They have tried as much as possible to be somebody. So they need to take responsibility. There is one saying that you can take the horse to the river, but you can force the horse to the river. Students right now really need to be more responsible and really understand that they have a future. And tomorrow too, they become parents, they become leaders, and if they are not well prepared, our society will really risk a very great number of our people. So I really want to encourage all of us to put our hands together in upbringing our children, and also to be more responsible also as young people, to know that the future is ours, and we really need to work very hard towards this end.
Thank you very much. I think we are running out of time. I think finally, what will be your last words for the show? Yes,
okay, as he was saying, we the children, or we the students, should also know that it is our own life. He made mention that the parents have already made their life, and then the teachers, they're already living their life. So it is our own life. So if we mess it up, then we're going to have a messed up future. So it depends, and I know we all are looking forward to have a brighter future. So in as much as you want a bright future, try to work for it. Now is the right time to work for it.
It's never too late.
Yeah, it's never too late to change. If you have kids that maybe are watching, try to change. If you are into these negative antisocial activities, try to change and try to mold yourself into a better person. It is never too late. Try to have that good character with everyone. Try to show up that reflection that you are being taught at home. Try to be that somebody that anybody will be proud of. Yeah, that is what I have to say. And to parents too, try to do your quota. Do not be reluctant. Do not be so responsibility. And to teachers too, try to play your quota. I think if this is done, it will be a different story.
Thank you very much, head girl Yasinba. Yes, finally, John, your final words on this.
To parents, teachers, students who much is given, much is expected, and I think it's high time for us to really do something about this concept of moral. When I know moral is a very subjective term. What's moral in the Gambia may probably not be moral in another country. But there are good practices that are general, such as honesty, virtue, and discipline. All this moral respect are things that we share in common all over the world, and they are cherishable also as well. So I think all of us to try as much as possible. I know there are challenges such as that coming from globalization and technology, but yet still we have also opportunities as well. We really need to work together, see that we build up a nation that we want to build, and also raise our children in the way that we want to raise them, so that tomorrow all of us will be happy about our legacy, and all of us tomorrow will become more responsible for the interests of the nation and the world at large. So on that note, I am very delighted to be here, and I all of us to keep on trying. I know it's not easy task, but of course it's a possible task. So on that note, I want to thank you very much for this wonderful program.
Thank you very much.
Especially from the technical team.
Yeah, thank you very much, John. Well, viewers, that brings us to the end of our today's edition of the Students Platform panel discussion segment. It's a special talk on education that we always bring you on the Sanbians VIP magazine and television. Once again, my name is Palain Gay, and I hope you've enjoyed the program. Join us next time. Bye-bye.
No, 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 no.
Jay's production.
Ibnu Adama, Julu Janga Jokatina, Laba Berne Saboda Maide, Yaman, Rasta Vilazwa, l'enfant de Kaka. Yeah. Ngodo, Kambode, Mbode, money makes the world go round.
Jay's production.
Money makes the world go round.
Jay's production.
Money makes the world go round. Kono fere ala mama yentum, mo beno fala aljanna. Kono koto fala kamai dendeng. Ware de yalti film budi, anya de yalti film budi, soke de yalti film budi, fenande yalti film budi. Wo beno feta ko film budi, wo beno seda ko film budi, wo beno welda ko film budi, wo beno kela de film budi, wo beno songa ko film budi. Kambode, Mbode, money makes the world go round. Mbode,
Jay's production.
money makes the world go round. Mbode, money makes the world go round. Kodo, dolke kali, kodi go kama, dolke pali,
Jay's
kodi go
production.
kama, kana mofa, kodi go kama, limma fwe, doza fwe, loma fwe, doza fwe, foisaje, lelo denge atu, kono fere ala ma golden tum, kono achen golle bonde dem few, hey, ndare sale mende no way joni, la bere mbudi woni yeso, kamba.